This episode of Tailgate Talks is brought to you by Blanca. Tune in live to interact with the hosts on Wednesday nights, 6:30 Central, at www.twitch.tv/BlancaOG. Hope you enjoy the show.
And here we are, guys, live. This is week 7, episode 7 of the Tailgate Talks podcast. This is going to be our Thanksgiving episode. How we doing, guys? Y'all ready to go chow down on some food?
Let's do this.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think everybody here is. If you're into sports, you're usually into Thanksgiving, vice versa. It's just kind of the two are one and the same. So we're gonna go ahead and cut out. We got quite a bit to talk about today, so we're gonna jump into this episode pretty quickly. Kind of get through a lot of the topics we want to discuss. We got the Texas Tech basketball season coming up. We're gonna be talking that with y'all. We got the NFL recap. We got shot bets. We had quite a few people vote on this shot bet this week, and so
we did.
We need to see some shot bet videos paid off. For some of you, we're gonna have at the end of this as well a little bit of the NBA Thanksgiving. We're gonna maybe tie it to some food, a little bit of some trade talk. We're gonna have some fun with some of the recent events in the NBA. So just wanted to give everybody a quick reminder. Give us a follow on all the social media accounts. We have a tailgate_talks on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As well as if you want to follow our own personal accounts, you can follow Dustin at DustinWimmer22. You can follow Brooks at Calvin B. Barrett. And you can follow me, Arlie, at Blanca, where the L is a 1. Once again, do want to kind of throw out the reminder to everybody that casted a shot bet vote with us last week. Send us your videos. We're trying to kind of get that going. And soon we're going to be giving out t-shirts and stuff and prizes and whatnot for either most creative or random follower, random shot bet video, whatever we're feeling like that week, you know? So send those videos in if you ended up losing your shot bet. So guys, y'all ready for this episode? We're finally getting to talk about Texas Tech basketball. About some
college basketball starts tomorrow.
Hopefully.
It's about time. I've honestly been waiting
In some places.
So long to talk about Texas Tech basketball because we've been all living through Texas Tech football together. So I think it's about time we get to talk about where we actually have a chance at competing on a national level. All right, so let's go ahead. I think we kind of covered the intro a little bit there, discuss what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is Tailgate Talks Club Red. And there we go. Always. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You see both of them nodding their heads to this. All right. So the idea of this segment today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Texas Tech basketball, the season preview. Brooks here has a full spreadsheet of where each player ate the last 3 meals.
Yes, sir.
He went in depth as far as the information that he has on our Texas Tech basketball team this year. So we're going to be diving into a little bit of each player, their positions, how long they've been on the team, transfers, expectations for this season. Just going to dive into every bit of this as we can, looking ahead.
Yeah. So what I did is I went through the roster and I kind of divided it into 4 groups. We've got 4 groups of players here. One's going to be the returners, guys who were on the team last year or the year before who have played minutes for Texas Tech. Then we've got the guys who have been here but who haven't played just yet. We've got a couple of guys who have been on the team for a year. They just haven't got to play for Tech yet. We got the transfers and we got the freshmen. So we're going to dive into each one of those groups, kind of look at the players in there, what we expect from those groups, and the players we're kind of looking to be, the leaders of this squad. So that's kind of a way of breaking down this Texas Tech basketball team.
A little bit as to the preview that we have for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Tex-Mex, J-Jack, Tate, welcome all of you. Appreciate you joining us on today's recording. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's go ahead and look at the returning players. Brooks, who do you have on this roster, and what do you think their impact is going to be in this upcoming season?
Yeah, for our returners, we've got junior guard Kyler Edwards. We all are familiar with Kyler Edwards. He's been on the squad 2 years now, so this will be his third year playing under Chris Beard. We've got Terrence Shannon Jr. This is his second year with us. We've got Kevin McCullough. This is his second year with us. Clarence Nadinley, his second year with us. And Avery Benson, who this is feels like his 15th year with us, but somehow he's just like a junior. But those are the guys that we've got that are coming back, who were on the team last year. One big part of, I think, Chris Beard's teams is usually the guys who come back, what kind of leap they make from each year within the program. They understand the system. They understand what Chris Beard wants from them, and they understand Big 12 basketball and kind of what it takes to win. And so this is like your core group of guys that you need to step up and need to be leaders on this team, preach the focus and all the stuff that Coach Beard preaches to them all the time, being uncomfortable and all that good stuff. So that's Absolutely. This group of players. Dustin, who are you looking at in this group this year?
I'm looking for Terrence Shannon Jr. to make that huge leap this year. He showed a lot of promise last year. He was my hey, watch this guy. And last year he showed us some flashes, but he also had some inconsistencies that Beard was kind of working through with him.
Yeah.
I think from what he's shown and what some coaches have kind of let out is he's put his head down and worked so hard, and is going to be way more consistent this year. And he's your prototypical guy that Beard loves. 6'6", can play the guard forward position, can play everybody, can play inside, outside, do everything for you. So I expect him to kind of make that a huge jump like Culver did from freshman to sophomore year and be a really big part of this team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I had on him too, is what's exciting about him is last year he has this just ability to get by any defender and get to the rim.
He has the best first step on the team, even last year.
He's so quick. The only thing is his shot wasn't that good. So for this year, I want to see him get a more consistent jumper, because I think if he's a consistent jumper, he's going to be one of the hardest guys to defend. If he can knock down shots consistently and also get to the basket, he's going to be a nightmare for guys.
I mean, late in that Kentucky game, we were going to him for buckets, doing just one-on-one stuff.
Yeah.
But I also see Kyler Edwards being that leader like Norrance was and like Davide was last year. Here's what we're doing. Get on my back. Everybody come on. And he's setting the tone for everybody, every game.
No, absolutely.
What I look for Kyler was a little inconsistent last year at times. I think he fits that Beard type of player, right? Like he came in, had a great freshman year, like kind of rose to the occasion in the tournament and kind of flipped the switch to where everybody was expecting him to have this huge jump this last year. I don't think he necessarily reached that. There was definitely games where he was, turnover prone and didn't come up big for you, but he had his moments. I think he just needs to put both of those together to where he's good on defense, good on offense consistently. He doesn't need to be your leading scorer, but be a leader out there.
But
he will be our leading scorer a lot of times. So.
But that's a general kind of Chris Beard format, which is he's going to put defense first.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's how you get on the floor with him.
Yeah, and so the points will come, but they're not going to matter as much because Texas Tech has always had, in the Chris Beard years, lower scoring games. So it's really just going to be like, how much can he compete on both ends of the court? but mostly keeping that other team's score down.
Well, there's one more guy in this group that I really wanted to talk about. He was the guy who kind of came on at the end of last year. I think he started his freshman year here. Everybody was kind of not sure how they felt about him, but Kevin McCullough, he came on and he was one of our best players at the end of the year, one of our most consistent players, and one of our probably gave the best effort, I think, out of anybody on the team down the stretch. He wasn't necessarily the best offensive player, but he was going to go out there. He was going to get rebounds. He was going to get stops, turnovers, all sorts of things. And I'm just curious to see, because he's one of these under the radar guys that took a leap at the end of last year. And if he takes an even bigger leap from his freshman year to this year, he's going to be one of those guys that could be an all conference type of player if he provides all the things that we saw from him at the end of last season.
Yeah.
I see him being our first guy off the bench. Beard loves bringing one of his better players and trusted guys off the bench. You've seen that throughout the last 3 years. A lot of people have him starting, but if they look at Beard, he loves bringing one of his better guys off the bench. And I see McCullough coming in 2 minutes into the game, already subbing in, and he's going to get a lot of minutes just because he's not starting. He's going to be there a lot.
It's what we have dubbed the Brandon Francis role.
Yeah, my boy.
Oh, but he was good at it, though.
Francis did it 2 years ago, and he was one of our better scorers. Last year, it was, what's his name? I've already blocked him out of my memory.
Chris Clark.
Ugh. But he loves bringing one of those guys off the bench to be that spark. What's funny is we have a few of those guys that we can spark with this year.
So, looking at the Sparks, honestly, big time with the transfers this year. We do need to take a look at that. The transfer game or the transfer window for us, I think it's what's putting us into the top 10 realistically. The Matt McClung, big transfer. That happened last year, though. I believe he just became eligible this year, right? How did that play out?
We got him after last season, and he's coming in, got his waiver granted to play immediately. So
that's what
NCAA is handing out a lot of waivers this year, I think, due to COVID reasons and everything. But yeah, he comes in. He's a junior this year. He played 2 years at Georgetown. He was their leading scorer last year. I think everybody who is a big fan of basketball is familiar with him because of his highlights. He can dunk the ball, and everybody has seen those videos, I'm sure, at some point. So, Mac McClung. Dustin, what you got on Mac?
Dude, Mac's going to be huge. I don't know if he's going to start. He's going to be a starter here and there. It's going to be between him and Amari Burnett. Alongside Kyler on those guard positions, but it's also nice. We can play 3 guards or 3 forwards at any point or go 3 and 2. We can have a ton of mix. He's going to be huge for us. He wants to get more tape on ball handling and obviously defense, and he came to the right place for that. If you look at his numbers, they're going to be pretty high because he literally put Georgetown on his back last year because they had nothing. So he had a high volume. So his 14 points was with a lot of shots also, but he can shoot from anywhere. He has a great mid-range game, explosive, can get to the rim. He's fast. If he can show Beard that he can play defense, he'll be on the floor a lot.
Well, and he's in his junior year, so he's trying to basically work on his draft stock at this point.
Yep.
So
he's vocalized that he wants better film.
Right, and so then what's he going to do? He's going to come to one of the best defensive teams in the nation. And so I think he's working on his more roundabout draft stock as far as not just being a shooter, but also somebody that can work both ends of the court. Anybody else we have from the transfer window that we need to be on the lookout for?
Oh yeah.
Our big man Santos Silva. He's going to fill in that spot that we were really lacking last year of rebounding and defense from a big man.
Look at
TJ
this.
Holyfield didn't quite fill that in for us. He was more of a, I wouldn't say soft, but he was more of a stretch 4 type guy and not a great rebounder. Silva loves get rebounds, and so he's going to be
245.
He's
That's
a big
boy. That's a big boy.
He's going to throw that big booty around and get some rebounds for us, hopefully. And Brooks has a good little thing there. He's Holyfield and Chris Clark combined, which sounds perfect.
Yeah. My favorite stat of him is he had more offensive rebounds than Holyfield and Clark had combined last year. That's incredible. We needed that. We need a guy who's going to go clear out the paint and get boards, be an inside force. We really missed that. Norrance was, a guy like that. He was going to go fight for rebounds. And I think if he can play that kind of role on this team, then he's going to have a real successful year. I'm not real sure about his offensive game. I don't think he's going to stretch the floor a whole lot on you, but it looks like he's got pretty good touch around the rim and inside from what I've seen.
The great thing is he's an unselfish player, which Beard also loves, especially out of his big men. We don't need him to hardly do anything on offense with the other guys that we have. The other 3 or 4 guys we have on the floor are going to be explosive and can get to the bucket. We just need him there to clean some stuff up,
box out and get rebounds. Just box out and get rebounds, man.
He will be a great addition. He'll be a starter from game 1 and as many games as we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever he provides offensively is just going to be an extra gift, right? But
that's not his role.
Leading their team in scoring.
Oh yeah, but that's not his role. And I mean, looking down here, I didn't even know that we had this guy, a freshman from Russia.
Yeah, Brooks, get into the freshman for us.
Let's go ahead and take a look at him.
Before we go into the freshman, I want to go back to, we kind of skipped a group here. It's the guys who have been a part of Texas Tech for a year, but we haven't yet seen them play for us. Because there's are 2 of the guys that I think I'm most excited to see, because we've had to wait for what's felt like an eternity to watch these guys, and that's Joel Ntwambe and Tyreek Smith. Joel Ntwambe is the transfer from UNLV who was stolen last year by the NCAA. And we've been waiting a long time to see this guy play for us. And he is one of those do-it-all type of guys. He's 6'8", but he was running point for them at UNLV. He can rebound and lead the break. And what I think is so key in today's game of basketball is having a tall guy like that who can get a rebound and immediately put you into the break, and you're on a fast break like that. Like, that's huge. And so we've been waiting for this. And if he's anything like anybody's talked about, then he's going to be huge for us this year.
And
I see him starting from the beginning too, and being kind of like our stretch 4 and that other guard that we have. And he's going to be a big part. He was UNLV's best player 2 years ago.
As a freshman.
A big deal. And now he's just got another year to see what we're all about. I'm excited to see him too. And then, Tyreek Smith, he got to just sit a year and grow from a freshman into a big man. If you hadn't seen him, he put on like 25 pounds of muscle. And
he's a beast.
If he can find a spot on the floor, that's going to be his problem. He's going to have to squeeze his way in on playing time. But I think he can add a huge thing around the rim for us.
Yeah, I would like to see him kind of do a little bit of Tariq Owens type stuff, right? Tariq Owens, Zach Smith. Name is Tyreek Smith. Kind of works out that way, but
Tyreek Owens Smith.
Yeah. Those names have been successful here at Tech. So, he needs to, provide some defense and offense for you. His game looks pretty fun and exciting. He's going to have some blocks, I think, and dunks that are going to get the crowd on their feet, the limited capacity crowd at the USA. But
at least there's a crowd.
At least there's a crowd. But yeah, if he can stay healthy and, like Dustin said, with the minutes that he's given, produce for you, who knows where he could end up at by the end of this year.
I'm going to take a quick little halftime.
Ooh, Dustin is paying off one of the shots.
Is this the first shot bet of the night?
One of the very many shots that Dustin
All right, so he's starting to realize you can't get too far behind on these, because otherwise you just end up with one horrible afternoon. No, it's literally you end up with one afternoon where you knock out 5 just to get it done with. Oh, man. All right, so
But
Yeah,
freshman.
Anybody? Well, is there anybody else on this returning group you want to talk about, or we want to go ahead and move on to the freshman squad?
No, those were the
We
only
can-
two guys who were here last year that
Yeah.
didn't get a play that are back. So now it's on to the highly touted freshmen.
So who's
Ooh, yeah.
who's highlighting this freshman squad for you guys? Brooks, who do you have coming in?
The flashy name on here is going to be Namari Burnett, who is our highest recruit ever at Texas Tech University. But I'm going to go the other route here, and I'm going to go with Micah Peavy as my freshman that I'm looking for this year.
Love
Everything
that
I'm
pick.
seeing, everything that I'm seeing, Chris Level, all the basketball people are like, wait for this guy. I think there was right after the draft last week is who's the next Tech guy? And it was Mac McClung and TJ Shannon and, Namari, but PV is kind of that under the radar guy. He was on Jemias Ramsey's team in high school, and he was the state MVP over Jemias Ramsey when they won state.
When I saw all those game films of highlights of Jemias, I saw in the background PV, and I go, I want that guy.
Yeah, I think we had this conversation, me and Dustin did, was like, if we can get Jemias and he lands us Micah Peavy, that might be the best thing Jemias does for us. So I'm really excited to see him. He kind of seems like that do-it-all type guy. He's, his dad was a coach. So I'm just excited to see him play for us. I know Namari is the sexy pick here, and I'll let maybe Dustin go on about Namari. But yeah, Micah Peavy for me is going to be the freshman that I'm really intrigued to see.
It'd be good to cover it a little bit, anyways.
And PV, you mentioned Namari's the highest rated recruit ever. PV's the third highest rated recruit we've ever had.
Yeah.
And we're so deep on this team. He's like 8th or 9th guy. Like that's how deep we are this year. He is our third best recruit ever. And the first and second are probably one and dones. He's going to have to struggle for minutes. That's such a great problem to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, Namari Burnett's coming in as obviously the highest rated recruit ever, super explosive guard. And him and McClung are going to start off and on or together. But I see those two guys as taking that second guard spot alongside Kyler. And hopefully he brings a lot. But I see McClung kind of getting over him right now because Namari's an 18-year-old playing against 20 and 21-year-olds on this team right now. So Kyler and McClung, I think, have that edge up on them because of their experience.
Right.
So is there anybody this year out of the freshmen that would you say is at risk of being a one and done for us?
I could put both of those guys, I think, into that category.
Like, do you think they would transfer to the NBA by next year? 1 year of growth, 1 year
I think Namari would be the first one just because he's going to be that explosive guard type player that they love, and he's going to get more minutes than PV will because the forward group is very crowded and a little more experience. So PV's going to have a harder time getting minutes and on the floor to get that game film out and get those eyes on him.
Yeah.
That's really why I would just go Namari. But with the depth here, I don't know if either of them do take that chance and that risk.
Yeah.
Usually at the start of the year, Beard's going to try to figure out his lineups, right? And then by kind of mid-conference, you're looking at a pretty sure thing on who are your starters and who are your main guys off the bench. I could see PV rising up that list real quick.
Yeah.
You want to just get into that? Like who's going to start and play and kind of the
let's go ahead and put out who do we have as our starting five? Dustin, who do you got? Lead the way on this one.
Sure. I'm gonna preface this as it's more of a starting six.
Okay.
Way to
get greedy, but okay.
Not including
only 5 are allowed on the court, Dustin.
I say
you're starting off with a technical.
So obviously Santos Silva is going to start as our big man.
Right.
We're going to start TJ Shannon and Joel and Tomboy as our forwards. And then we're going to start Kyler at guard. And then it's going to be either McClung or Namari. And it might be back and forth all year too. But that's why I say 6, because I have those two guys
rotating in and out.
interchangeable.
Yeah.
And then you have McCullers as the first man off the bench, which is usually like 90 seconds into the game.
Quick.
Yeah. Beard is a mass subber. He loves to get guys in and out. I've got the same starting. I think the only difference, I think McClung's going to start at the beginning of the year.
I think so
you'll
too.
see Mac, and then maybe as the season goes on, it changes. But I think that's your starting five: Kyler, Mac, Ntwambe, Shannon, and Santos Silva. And then, like Dustin said, you're gonna probably have Namari, McCullough, and Peavy, or you're gonna be your three main guys off the bench to start the year. I would expect.
Oh, and it's not like the people on the bench are not going to see plenty of playing time. You're very right about that with how deep our bench is and how quick Beard is to sub in and out all game.
Yeah.
Because he wants that one, he wants that consistent high energy defensive pressure. So it's like, that takes a lot of work because these people coming out into the NCAA scene very fast. And so to cover them constantly all game, you have to be subbing them in and out all.
We have by far the deepest team in the conference.
Oh, in the conference, I think so.
Our bench is Tyreek, Peavy, Chibuzo, McCullers, Namari, and Burnett.
So,
and that second group of five would have beaten any team from the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at it, and the guys you didn't even mention, Donley, Avery Benson, and the big Russian guy.
They can't even get on the floor.
Like, Benson's he's not somebody you're looking to go out there and light the game up, but he's going to provide you with decent minutes, and he's familiar with the college basketball scene, and he's played Big 12 games, and he played valuable minutes against Louisville. So you don't really have a weak spot, I don't think, on this roster.
Not at all.
We don't know a lot about this Russian kid, but if he
I'm
can
curious,
come out and
look at this, though. 7'1", 240. That's tall, but that's still a lot of weight.
Another year and let him grow and stuff.
I think so.
We just don't need him, and that's okay.
But that's
here's the thing.
That's a big boy. That's a big boy, a tall dude sitting in the wing.
You can't just find 7'1" people anywhere. You got to get them while you can.
So,
but here's the thing about having that kind of depth is the guys on the court got to perform because, hey, we can find a guy here on the bench that can do what we need this team to do.
So I'm talking about that.
It'll provide a lot of competition, I think, and that's
big
good.
time. And these guys have to do it so much earlier. Usually by now we're getting a couple games in. We have way less games, and conference starts around the corner. And if you're not taking advantage of the minutes you're getting, you're
next guy
gonna get kicked down the bench really fast.
So moving on into this a little bit, do you think this 14 seed, going into the AP polls for the season, is that justified? Do you really think that we're this far down, even though it's preseason, even though we haven't played any games yet? Do you think that's valid that we're this far down?
Properly ranked.
Do you think that's properly ranked, Dustin? 14?
Yeah. He's right.
Oh,
he's right. Tech fans want to be mad about it, but here's the thing: is voters are always going to go with what's known, and most of the teams that are up there have guys returning, right? And you're kind of like, you got that love last year, right? You made it to the title game, and then everybody had you as like the finishing top of the Big 12. And then you kind of fell back down to earth a little bit last year. So when you're mixing in so many new parts, there's always going to be some question marks.
Right.
And so until we see the product on the court, I think 14 is a really good spot for us.
I think so as well. I think until we see how this group meshes together and how well they defend together, these preseason rankings don't really mean anything to me. It's kind of weird to see them put what is, I feel like, probably our strongest squad top to bottom since Tech basketball, or since Chris Beard got here. What do you got, Dustin? You got a bit of a comment face.
The only rankings I have a problem with are, of course, the preseason Big 12 rankings that have us fourth, and I have us finishing fifth. Still too low. I have us finishing second on that.
To who?
Baylor's probably going to take it.
Okay.
Baylor has everybody come back. They have a
Yeah.
great squad, good coach. I don't see Texas doing anything with their good squad because of their coach.
Yeah.
Kansas doesn't have as much as people think. They just are getting the name recognition
Yeah,
and
they're
the coaching recognition. West Virginia has a good squad. I see us and Kansas flip flopping and
Yeah.
being around there. But I see Baylor a little ahead of everybody else, and then you have us, West Virginia, Kansas, all bunched together, fighting for that second, third, fourth spots. But I think we can pull it out with this depth on this team.
I'm loving the respect the Big 12 is getting, though. Loving it, because I do feel like we do have some of the best basketball in the nation as far as colleges go.
Yeah, Big 12 basketball always gets love because we always have a really good crop of teams at the start.
Yeah.
At the top of the polls, and so yeah, I'm kind of with Dustin. I think we're too low, but it makes sense to me because all the teams that are higher than us have guys from last year that are returning, and so it's just the easy thing to look at them and like, hey, they were good last year and they got all those guys back, so they're probably going to be better.
Yeah.
Texas is the only one that really bothers me because they weren't that great last year, so we're all of a sudden like they weren't that great, but all of a sudden now they're supposed to be great. I don't know. But I guess that brings us to the point of Dustin and Arlie, what are your realistic expectations for this season? And what are your kind of bold expectations, I guess?
Dustin, go ahead and start us off, man. What do you think going into
like
this?
I said, I got us finishing second in the Big 12, maybe challenging for first. I think those top 4 positions are going to be hard to get and might be jumbled up in some way, but I think we can get somewhere in that first, second, third area.
How about this?
Game apart.
Way too soon. Tournament seeding.
I see us as a 3 seed.
Ooh.
And making the Elite 8.
Okay. I was gonna guess similarly. I was actually gonna guess a 2 seed, but like that very bottom of the 2 seed. But then also making Elite 8 was gonna be my assumption with this group. But that was my prediction for this one. I don't know how well that's gonna go. Obviously, a lot of variables in that, but
I think if we're lower than a 4 seed, it's kind of disappointing this year with this much talent and, of course, our coach. So I think we need to be at least a 4 seed, if not better.
Yeah. Brooks, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I also got us competing at the top of the Big 12, either that 1, 2, or 3 spot. I think between us, Baylor, and Kansas and West Virginia, those are the 4 best teams. There's going to be a lot of interchangeable parts with those teams. So I got us right at the top. I think my realistic expectation of it is finish second or third, which is good, and then get I think a 3 seed in the tournament, 3 or 4 seed. A 3 is our sweet spot. That's when we were a 3 seed when we went to the Elite 8 and the championship game. So let's get that 3. And my realistic is Sweet 16 until I see this team actually play.
Right.
But I think every Tech fan has the right to expect the Final Four from this team. I think that's a realistic expectation to have for this squad. If once we see it this week with these 3 games, I don't know if everybody's Houston pretty well
expecting a Final Four, but nobody from the Texas Tech base will be surprised by a Final Four. They'll be like, "Oh, this is a fantastic." Yeah, okay. But then at the same
some
time,
people are, Ever since we made one Final Four, Tech fans now just buy flights to wherever the next Final Four is. They're
idiots.
like, like it's an automatic. No. Now that you're in, you're getting in every year.
That is not how college basketball works.
No,
sorry,
not at all. And don't get disappointed if we don't make it there. You know how hard it is to make it to one.
Yeah.
Let's hope for that. But let's also, like Brooks said, let's keep our expectations. Let's make the second weekend of the tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe let's win that 3rd game. Winning 4 games is so hard in that thing. Like,
let's go ahead and kind of keep moving this a little bit here. So we have a couple of games. The first game tomorrow, 6 p.m. Northwestern State. Should be a blowout win. First shot at seeing everybody here. Any surprises that we can kind of expect out of this, Dustin?
It's going to be your typical Chris Beard, like first cupcake preseason game where everybody gets the minutes spread out across each other, and you better not slack off for a second on that game film and work your butt off, because they're going to dissect that game film and see who's out there to do their job and do it well. And like I said, there's not as many games this year. Every minute that you're in the game is going to count.
Right.
So you better be meeting or exceeding expectations every minute. So you're going to see everybody play, and no one's going to get, like, even if somebody gets hot, this isn't the game where you keep them in.
Yeah.
They're going to rotate how they already have that planned out, and you better be out there doing your job the best you can every minute.
Oh, this is going to be 100% every single minute, especially these first 2 games. I'm thinking Sam Houston's going to be kind of a similar situation. But what I really want to kind of get y'all's take on is this next one right here. Brooks, what are you thinking about this top 25 matchup with us and U of H in week 3?
This is an important game for us. Our schedule besides conference is pretty weak.
Yeah.
We didn't do much to help ourselves in that department. So this is a huge game for us. You need to get these wins against good teams, and they've got a pretty good returning. They've got a good returning cast. They've got Quentin Grimes, who was a freshman at Kansas. He didn't really succeed there, but he's found his home in Houston. We've got some other really good players. So this is the one I'll be nervous about, because this is where you're going to find out kind of what you got.
Yeah.
And so and it's coming right at you, right out the gate. So you're going to have 2 games to kind of warm up, and then it's all on the court after that. So
no, you got to bring your A game, like, very, very early up, which is good for our end of the season, because
it's great.
It puts a great sense of urgency on all these cupcake preseason pre-conference games.
What do you think, or what do you expect out of this game, Dustin?
Yeah, Houston's a good team. It'll be our first good test, especially with all these new parts we have. So it'll be fun to see where we stand, because after that game, around the corner is Kansas. So
which is
we gotta gear up fast, and so it'll be good.
That's what I was about to bring up. We have literally fluff game, fluff game, fluff game, fluff game, fluff game, fluff game, one hard one, and then we get punched in the mouth with Kansas right out the gates. That's our season opener to the Big 12. So it's like,
I don't mind that either, because
but
especially with, it's going to be at home and there's going to be a limited crowd, but that's where everybody's going to be.
Yeah.
You might as well throw these boys in the fire and say, here we go, saddle up.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think
got to make those big games count.
That's going to be our year. This Kansas game is going to be our early shot to get to jump them in the rankings and prove that we're the second best team at minimum in the Big 12.
Yep.
And we have shown the last 3 years we can compete with them and have beaten them.
So
Tex-Mex just texted me and said he wants corn dogs for games 1 and 2. That means we hit 100 points, Jackie Moon style. Corn dogs for everybody.
Let's do it.
I don't know if it's going to be that big of a lead. I think
I will eat a corn dog every podcast if we hit those.
Do it.
All right. I think Twitter's going to have to see those videos, man. Twitter's going to have to see those videos. You're going to have to put your money where your mouth is on that one, literally.
You bet.
All right.
When you're eating.
So let's go ahead and jump ship here a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and hop over to football real quick. Hey guys, I want to take a second to apologize. At this point in the broadcast, we ended up getting with a copyright infringement for one of the songs in our transitions from one part to the other. Here's where we begin talking about our shot bets, and Brooks is the first one to place his bet on Oklahoma State beating the 10.5 point spread, and saying that Texas Tech will not cover. And he said in his prediction that Texas Tech was going to be the team to be down by 17 points and then randomly score one more to bring it within that 10.5 point range. And Dustin and myself just follow his lead on this one. I apologize sincerely about the inconvenience here. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the podcast. And as always, big thank you for coming out. I think in all honesty, I think that this is going to be our first week where we all vote the same. I cannot vote for Tech. I think that in all honesty, after the loss to Oklahoma, which was kind of embarrassing for Oklahoma State, because of a rivalry game, I was really expecting that game to be a lot closer. But with that loss last week to Oklahoma, I expect them to come out firing big and taking it out on Texas Tech's defense.
Agreed.
So to say that they're going to win by more than 10 points isn't a huge stretch for me. But again, with the Brooks prediction, with that 5 head of his, that is most likely what will end up happening in this game. But yeah, I gotta go Oklahoma State, dude. I can't pick Tech on this.
If that is exactly what happens, I think we should get at least partial credit.
There's no part. This is win or lose, sir.
If we're up by 7, if we're down by 17, and they, looks like the game's over, and then we come back and make it under 10.5. You heard it here first.
All right. So this is our first bet, guys, where I think all three of us just have to pick the same squad. Like that. There's just too much uncertainty about the Texas Tech football team to think that they're going to cover this.
I think y'all just want to hop onto this bandwagon over here. That's
actually that kind of was my plan.
It's a little bit of both, Brooks, but I'm adding some feelings about it to try and make it look like I came up with this on my own.
Appreciate it.
So speaking of that last game in between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, we do want to recap a little bit on the shot bets from last week. So in that we bet on the spread. It was OU by 7. Dustin took Oklahoma State, and me and Brooks took Oklahoma, and Dustin ended up losing that bet. I believe he just took that shot earlier today.
Yeah,
he did that shot that night.
Huh?
I did do that one that night. It's on Twitter.
Oh, you did do that one that night. That's right. Oh, you're catching back up. Look at you. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to move on into the second. I want to
call out some people real quick.
Ooh, this is true. We have a couple
lovely people out there on Instagram.
Hold on.
I can see who voted for what.
We had 126 votes, by the way.
That was on Twitter, but yes, we love those. Can't see who does what. Instagram, I can call you out though.
Ooh.
People on the losing side of this that might be listening.
Dustin needs a drinking buddy. Dustin needs a drinking buddy.
Tex-Mex lost both of them. I know he's listening. Also on the Oklahoma State ones, we had Kelsey, my sister, our buddies Barry, and my buddy Starty Bud. They all lost on this too. So if they're listening, you owe up. Give us those videos.
Mm-hmm.
Roger that.
All right. So we need to kind of be moving along in the show because I do still want to kind of spend a little bit of time on this Thanksgiving thing.
Yep.
The second shot bet that we had from last week was the Rams versus the Bucs, and the spread was 3.5 in the favor of the Bucs. Me and Dustin ended up taking the Bucs. Brooks, who is undefeated now I don't know how you have such a good record at picking these. Brooks took the Rams.
Your boy would be making
somehow.
some people money if they were betting on me.
But like the funny part was like before this game, Dustin, I was playing my game stream. Dustin popped in, and I was like, I'm a little worried about the Bucs. And you're like, you're always worried about the Bucs. I was like, yeah, but I'm a little worried about the Bucs. And I was like, I couldn't go any further in depth than that. But I was like, I don't know if I put the bad omen out there. But as soon as I said that, I was like, man, I really kind of want to swap over to the Rams on this bet.
The Rams are a dangerous team.
They're a dangerous team.
Dangerous. They have obviously the best D lineman and the best defensive back in the league, which really puts your offense in a bind.
Yeah.
And the
Cooper
Bucs
Kupp is always open.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
I still don't know why he's number 10. It throws me off.
But I think that's the kind of underlying story behind that. Not really underlying, but it is Bucs in prime time. They're struggling. They're struggling on these highlighted games of the week. Yeah, 0-4.
0-4.
So whenever it comes crunch time, whenever the playoffs are happening, I'm at this rate maybe wild card weekend's happening. Are they going to be able to pull it through?
Depends on the run game. They got away from the run game, and then like some of their linemen are kind of getting hurt and going out.
Yeah.
Their guard got hurt. Their center's playing guard. Their backup center's in. Their left tackle was in and out. Their run game super struggled, and that affected the whole offense. And then Leonard Fournette didn't want to catch any footballs out of the backfield.
Yeah.
But
Tex-Mex said, I'll send mine in, and you know it, Dustin. I'll send my NFL shot in after the show. And OU still sucks. All right.
Right.
Agreed.
So we're going to do a quick recap. Go ahead, Dustin.
No, go ahead. Keep talking. I'm going to take my
he's going to take the second shot of the night for Dustin. All right. So just a quick recap as to where we're at. with the shot bets. I'm currently in debt of 3. Dustin owes 6, but I think you're down to 4 with this one now. And Brooks owes a big old fat donut. So we're gonna look at the records overall, where we're at so far with this with these betting. By week 7, overall, I'm at 3-7. Dustin is at 3-7, and Brooks has a flip script on us with a 7-3. So if y'all are out there trying to place these shot bets, listen to the episode and try and just ride the Brooks train while he's hot.
Sounds like my fantasy football team.
Oh man! All right, so that's gonna kind of cover up the first part of our shot bets. We'll have one more shot bet we're gonna be placing later on the Washington football team and Cowboys game. We're gonna discuss that here in a second, but right now we're gonna go ahead and jump into the cleanup, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the Cowboys last week actually getting a win. Somebody posted what was it? Cowboys Super Bowl run. And they reposted it again, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this was a dialogue from the Cowboys saying Super Bowl and then run in big letters. But
I saw you post that. That's a good comeback.
All right, Dustin, what do you think? What do you make of this game, man?
I don't know. I guess the Cowboys are trying not to tank. I don't know. But Andy Dalton coming back helped.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed last week their line was getting better, so Zeke actually ran for the most yards he's had all year. Obviously, they have some of the best receivers in the league. CeeDee Lamb catches everything. And when their defense wants to show up like the last 2 weeks, they can do some things. So Cowboys are back within striking distance.
It's the biggest frustrating show from the wealthiest franchise in the NFL.
I don't know why. I guess for the Cowboys, for their sake, they want to win this.
Yeah.
Just because they're the Cowboys.
Pride?
Yeah, I guess. But if I'm the Cowboys, if you're looking at it long term, it's better off to get a top 5 pick and go get that tackle from Oregon. It's a top 5 pick and reboost your lineup.
Just tank it. You have the talent waiting and healing. I don't know. So any what do we make out of this? Do we look forward, or do you think they're gonna? It's hard.
It's one to rally around and like, all right, because I said the week before, like the Steelers game, that was a good locker room loss. Yeah. Well, they turned that into a win. They kept the ball rolling.
They shouldn't have.
So now they get to keep the ball rolling. Like, hey, we can do this, guys. We're not all out of this. Like, just because Dak's out, we can do this. Which now they're kind of getting healthier. Yep. Maybe that is the case.
It's they're again they're the wealthiest franchise in the NFL, one of the I think the top 5 in the world, and yet this is what we're getting from them. So let's go ahead and jump onto the next game that we wanted to talk about. Huge emotional game due to the strength and conditioning coach. What happened to the strength and conditioning coach for Dallas? I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
He had to go to the hospital today or something like that, and they canceled everything for.
Oh, I didn't know, but I didn't hear about that.
Personal reasons.
Well,
like
all joking aside, obviously we don't want anybody's health at risk. So hopefully he gets better soon. So we're gonna kind of move along. Brooks wrote down in the show notes, reeling Ravens. You want to explain this a little bit to me?
The Ravens have lost. 3 games in a row now? And they were a favorite at the start of the season, so they're struggling here. They've lost 3 games in a row. Maybe they had a win in there. I can't remember. They've lost to the Steelers, Patriots, and now the Titans. Yeah. And the Titans just kind of beat them at their own game. They're very similar teams. Titans kind of out-muscled them at the end. A.J. Brown carried the whole Ravens team into the end zone. Yeah. And then Derrick Henry just put the moves on him to get that overtime touchdown. But what I really wanted to talk about was what's happened at the start of the game. Okay. And I heard a story today on what happened at the start of the game. Are y'all familiar with what happened?
No.
There was like a little bit of there was a little bit of jawing at the start of the game. The Titans were on the logo, and the Ravens took exception to it. I was listening to the Rosillo podcast today, and they were explaining that the Titans just ran on the field and were just kind of standing there, getting ready. Didn't even know they were on the logo. We're just chilling there. And John Harbaugh came over, John, whichever Harbaugh brother is the Ravens coach.
This is John? Wait. Oh, Jim's at Michigan, right.
he got mad at Malcolm Butler for standing on the logo. And Malcolm Butler was like, what? What are you getting mad about? And so they started jawing at each other. Then Mike Vrabel hears that there's about to be a fight between Harbaugh and one of his players. So he runs out onto the field and he's like, what's this about? And Harbaugh's like, y'all are on the logo. And he's like, John, damn it, just get your team and go coach the game. He's like, coach the game. What are you yelling about? And then apparently one of the Titans players told the Ravens, what logo? The Under Armour sign that's here, or this Harry Potter looking thing?
They said that?
Now it got good.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that. Okay. I like that last part, though. That's a good diss.
I love making up very petty rivalries like this.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, you're standing. Have you seen their logo? It's like the most basic. It's not even like their logo. It's just some, Maryland, Baltimore type symbol. And so the fact that they got mad about that, we're like taking exception. That's kind of funny.
As long as they're not doing any like TO stuff on the star, like something like taunting, showboating on it. If they're just standing there, it's whatever. Like it's just a colored piece of grass at that point.
They're just getting ready for the game.
The Baker Mayfield flag plant.
They got pissed about nothing, and then they got beat by the Titans. So.
I think the Ravens. It's been said. The recipe to beat them is don't let them pass, or force them into a pass. Yeah, force them into a passing situation. If they get to start build up the run, then they're effective. Then they beat almost any team in the NFL. But the recipe for their defeat is out there. It's literally just don't let Lamar Jackson pass, or don't let him run.
The offensive coordinator for the Ravens is the same guy who was at the 49ers when Kaepernick got hot. And you saw the same thing in Kaepernick's like second and a half year.
True.
Is the defense kind of figured him out and started game planning for him in that RPO zone read.
Yeah.
And he kind of fizzled out a little bit. So that happened to Greg Roman all over again.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and keep moving. We got the Chiefs game and Mahomes Magic. I watched this entire game. I try to kind of jump around quite a bit, and it's hard to keep your eye off Mahomes. I know we kind of blow him up a little bit because he was, Texas Tech alum and obviously former NFL champion, reigning NFL champion. But I watched this entire game purely because of like the little tiny drama going on behind the background of this. Dustin, how do you feel about this game, man? Did you get to catch this one?
No, I didn't catch hardly anything Sunday. I was busy with a bunch of Thanksgiving stuff. But
okay.
Mahomes is good at the football.
Brooks, did you get a shot at this one?
Yeah, I did. I got to watch it. Mahomes with the ball last minute. Not what you want if you're the Raiders. Unfortunately for me, I was up by 11 in my fantasy game, and Kelsey had 12 points against me, so I lost my fantasy game by 1 point on the touchdown. That really hurt. But yeah, Mahomes Magic, your weekly reminder that Patrick Mahomes went 5-7 at Texas Tech University. So there you go.
Thank you. Did he go 5-7, or was Cliff Kingsbury 5-7?
He was on the team that went 5-7. Everybody's on the team that was 5-7 gets that.
All right,
I don't know. Everybody just always is like, your weekly reminder that he went to Tech. And I'm like, your weekly reminder that we didn't win shit with him.
We didn't do that. Great. I don't know. I don't know who's more to blame. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and kind of jump forward. That's kind of be our cleanup for the week of the main games. This Cleveland Philly game, a little bit of fun around that, but it was mostly just somehow the Browns keep winning games.
They're playing in crappy weather. Let's get them in a nice dome and let's see how they play. And what's funny is the weather's making them play how they need to play and run the football and take the ball out of Baker's hands.
100%.
So, but good for them for figuring it out.
Atlanta, New Orleans. Atlanta was on a bit of a hot streak, winning I think 2 or 3 of the last 4 games, something like that. They were doing well. And then Taysom Hill just throwing in a curveball and nobody expecting him to ball out like that. Didn't watch.
I didn't know
Cincinnati.
he was like 30 years old.
Me neither. I thought he was younger. I don't know.
R.I.P. Joey B's knee.
Oof.
That That was a sad one to see.
That was players on both sides, or on both Washington and Cincinnati coming over to like offer condolences for the dude. Like,
everybody loves Joey B.
He's got so much respect, and that kind of says a lot as to like who he really is, instead of like who a lot of like, I guess, people coming out of college will come off as, especially quarterbacks.
With the timing and severity of this injury, he might not play at all next year.
No, he might not. But I hope the Bengals front office takes a good look at this and realizes, and they won't, because they're one of the most. You're right. That is a justified laugh. But I hope that they get their head out of their ass, honestly.
They don't even have an indoor practice facility, and they're in Cincinnati, and they're a professional sports team. Yeah. You think they're going to get him an offensive line?
I feel so bad for like, as soon as he got drafted number 1, I felt so bad for this guy, because kind of similar to what Cleveland had been for the last 30 years, Cincinnati is where kind of quarterbacks go to die. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Any other big games? Houston beat New England. It was kind of nice for me. I enjoyed that one because we never beat New England. Anything else?
Not much else.
Nah, that's kind of it for the week. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at our shot bet game for this week, which is gonna be the Washington football team. I still hate saying that name, and the Dallas Cowboys. So Brooks, if you want to lead the way for us.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, you got a target on your back, sir. You got a target on your back, sir. All right. So the people need to know, which way are they voting this week, Brooks?
Hey, what's our line on this?
3 point. 3 point. They're at
3 for the Cowboys.
They're at Dallas with a 3-point spread.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm going Cowboys on this one, folks. Okay. Going Cowboys on this one. They showed signs of life last week, that on defense, at least, that looked respectable, and their offense a little bit better, although Washington defense has a really good pass defense. So we'll see what they do there, but if they can run the ball with Zeke like they did last week and Tony Pollard, might have a chance. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Feels right.
Okay. Dustin, what are you picking, man?
I'm with Brooks on this one.
Oh my God.
That's so unpredictable.
Not to just bandwagon, but I was already going Cowboys. The 3 points almost deterred me and made me go the other way, but I think they can pull it out. They do have a good pass rush in Washington, but Cowboys, like I said, their line is figuring it out. Maybe they can run the ball and have those good receivers and can figure it out for Andy Dalton.
I am going to go the opposite way, and similar to how we were talking about the Chargers charging and the Jets just being the Jets, I think the Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys and mess this one up. This is going to be their shot at gaining some ground in the division and potentially trying to take that number 1 seed, and I think they're going to Cowboy this one up. I think Chiefs actually win this game. Or not
Chiefs.
Not Chiefs, sorry. I'm thinking of the freaking the colors of it. The Chiefs are going to win this game, and they're not even playing. I think the Washington football team is going to win this game. Not even just by the point spread. I do think that they're actually going to take the W on this one. So I think that's going to be it for the shot bets for this week. We have the Oklahoma State game versus Tech and how big that one's going to be, and then we have the Washington football team at the Cowboys with a 3-point spread. So, we were talking about about betting on Kansas City and Tampa Bay as well, but I think we've given those two teams a lot of light on the show, so I think we're gonna leave that bet alone for the week. Let's see here. Any other games that we want to talk about going into the week? There's the Titans at the Colts. Colts have been looking really good. And then we got the Bears at the Packers. Let's just talk about these for a quick second. Titans at the Colts. Dustin, what do you think about this game?
It's kind of a show me who's who type game. Titans have been struggling, but maybe they're starting to turn to Derrick Henry more.
Yeah.
Colts have the number 1 defense, and their offense is kind of starting to figure it out. So I think it's a good test of those middle playoff teams there, and see who can show us what. Maybe a playoff preview.
These are the two teams at the top of the AFC South, and so it's kind of a little bit of a battle for that number 1 seed. Bears at Packers. Brooks, thoughts on this one?
I mean, I don't care about this game at all, really. I don't care about either of these teams.
Yeah.
The Bears don't even know who they're going to start at quarterback. So.
Yeah, the Bears are so boring to me.
And it's not going to matter.
The only game that I care about this week is Bucs Chiefs, and I think that's a show game because we got Dustin, who's a big Brady fan, and we got Mahomes. That, although I think the Chiefs are going to win that one pretty handily, but I mean, Bears Packers always kind of fun, but I think the Packers will win this one.
Let's get a quick vote though. So you think the Chiefs are going to beat the Bucs?
Yeah.
Okay, both of you. I do think so as well, but I don't think it's going to be any kind of blowout. If you're looking at the scoreline for a lot of these games recently from them, they're slowing down these gaps for the Chiefs, and so Tom Brady, veteran quarterback in close games, so I don't know if it's going to be blown out
against the Rams.
Yeah, very true.
Except for against the Rams and the Saints and the Bears incredibly this year.
Jay Foreman says Bears have lost 17 of the last 20 games against Green. Oh my gosh. 17 of the last 20 games the Bears have. Yeah, I think so. So the Bears are successfully 3-17 against Green Bay.
Yeah, you got to look at it from a positive light. They have successfully won 3.
They have successfully won
20 games.
Good Lord. The Bears are just. Yeah, they're just the Bears. Like, I used to love watching the Bears defense. Like, I was never supportive of them. I just used to like their defense. I used to like watching their defense. And
one of these weeks we need to have like a power ranking. The Jets jetsing, the Chargers charging, the Bears bearsing. Which one is the most powerful?
Which one is the most?
I'll just tell you from the game last week. The Jets being the Jets is greater than the Chargers charging.
Yeah.
True.
The Chargers tried to charge her up that game, but then the Jets are like, no. Our jetsing is more powerful.
Very true. Jetsing is more powerful than chargering. Just so that way people can gauge at home. All right, Dustin, this is your time to shine, man. Stat of the day. We didn't jump to it earlier.
Stat of the day for you.
I know we got NFL, so let's see what you got, man.
Last little bit of last week, Tua kind of disappointingly got pulled from the game. Last week when the Dolphins lost, they were on a nice little hot streak.
Yeah.
Going into that game, there was possibility he, as a rookie, could go 4-0 in his first 4 starts in the NFL, which has only been done once in 40 years. You know, I like to bring stats from way back.
Oh, damn.
Who is that quarterback that has that 4-0 record as a rookie?
I saw this the other day.
Oh.
This is a good
one.
one.
I'm not going to be able to remember it.
40 years, first 4 starts, 4-0.
And this was 40 years ago that this happened?
This is in the last 40 years.
So, I mean, it had to have been 40 years ago then. Like, otherwise, why would they say 40?
No, it's just
when they started keeping track of this, I think.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Peyton Manning?
Teddy Bradshaw?
Nope. More recent.
No. Peyton Manning or no?
No, he was only like 2-14 in his rookie year.
Yeah, I don't know. He was good in college. I was just thinking like right out of that maybe.
Brooks, you're
Russell Wilson?
No.
All right. So let's see. Do we have anybody out there listening? Don't Google this off the top of your head.
Rookie quarterback that went 4-0 in his first 4 starts. Only one rookie quarterback has done this.
Was it
Lamar?
Tim Tebow?
No.
he randomly did good, so I was like,
the Bucs only went like 8-8 that year.
Yeah. Okay. So who is it, Dustin? Let's spit this out. We need to move.
The one and only Big Ben in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's right.
I would have never come to that one. I would have never come to that on my own. Good stat. That's a good stat. Damn. All right.
I'm here for. I bring stats from way back.
All right. So we have our last segment for you guys for today, and this is gonna kind of wrap up the show. We have our final shots after that, and then we'll be done for the evening. So NBA Thanksgiving, we kind of had a little bit of fun with this and with the trades and how each the state of each team, how they're doing. And each of us have a couple of good picks, a couple of bad picks, and then we're gonna, me and Dustin, I think, are gonna tie it to food somehow. I had a plan too. I kind of wrote this up as that. So let's just go ahead.
The original idea is Thanksgiving. When you're going to eat, you obviously have the dishes that you want a lot of, and you're going to go back for seconds on. And then you have some dishes that you might just get a little bit because you want to show respect to the cook. Or but you're probably,
why did this dish even get brought to Thanksgiving?
Cranberry sauce.
So, all right. So this is going to be our talk for NBA this week from Tailgate Talks. Yep.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Oh, always fun. Love it. Okay, so we got Dustin on top of this list right here. You want to go ahead and take the reins here?
Yeah, I was just scrolling back through my text to remember all this because I forgot my notes on it.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of go off the top of the head, but I got some of it written down.
Got it. All right.
So I'm going with the food route. I tried really hard to think of this.
Yeah.
So my first really good one is Gordon Hayward.
Okay.
Signed a big contract with the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. Overpaid.
He's like a nice golden mac and cheese.
Ooh. Okay.
Let's go get that gold bag.
Ooh, okay.
He's getting paid. He's a nice addition to your Thanksgiving meal, but you don't have to have it. But comparing his like nice golden money bag with the nice golden mac and cheese as a good dish to add on.
I like
good
it.
Addition for Michael Jordan. It's not going to really improve your team when you have a lot of other crap on your plate, though.
And he's white.
He's the creamy part of the golden mac and cheese.
All right.
One of my other ones, I use this as our example to kind of go off of it. And Brooks has more on the Lakers, but like Dennis Schroeder getting added to the Lakers.
Right.
He's like bringing a great green bean casserole to the meal.
Okay.
Like,
not the main course.
He's a great side dish, and you're like okay without him. Everything else is good, but then when you have a really good green bean casserole, it like elevates everything. You're like, oh man, this is surely brings everything in.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Brooks might also add on to this one later with the Suns bringing in CP3, and Brooks, feel free to jump in here. But I got CP3 as like a really good gravy. He makes everything around him better. You put CP3 on top of the nice Devin Booker turkey.
Little drizzle.
And he makes Devin Booker better. You put him on that nice stuffing of DeAndre Ayton, makes that better.
Mm-hmm.
He makes everything around him better. He's done it at every family meal he's been at.
I like that.
All right.
I thought that was my best one.
That's a good one.
You want me to finish out with my two teams and their comparisons? I'm on a roll.
Yeah,
literally.
Not like the Thanksgiving roll.
No, that's what I thought.
He's on fire. Let him keep
the Thunder.
Okay.
I have the Thunder. The Thunder. They're like that couple that's just putting off family gatherings for like 3 more years, and they're all going to catch up to them in a few years. They're just gathering draft picks, and they're going to have a lot of family functions to go to in like 2 years. It's like that movie Four Christmases, where they get busted and got to go to every family function.
Okay.
My last one is the Rockets. They're on the bad side.
They're on the bad side. All right.
They're like the fun dysfunctional family. You think they're like fun to hang out with, and like they're gonna have a good party and some good food. But after a couple years, everybody gets sick and tired of each other, and there's probably a drunk uncle or aunt, and things start going bad, and then they just all start fighting, and family Thanksgiving's not fun anymore. And that's where the Rockets are at right now.
Who's the drunk uncle?
Very dysfunctional family. Well, it's probably Maury. Yes, he already just up and left.
He's gone.
All right. Now you got the kids fighting, and Harden and Westbrook. They're arguing like cousins, and like they're just a dysfunctional family that's fighting, and nobody wants to be there anymore.
And the dad, Mark D'Antoni, just left to get cigarettes and never came back.
He's like, I'll be somebody's stepdad over here in Brooklyn.
That was good.
So that was my take on
that was good. That was a good
Yeah.
Thanksgiving twist to this for the people. Brooks, all right. I think you mentioned earlier yours is a little bit less foodie, but what do you got,
Yeah.
man? What do you got for the good and the bad so far with the NBA?
Yeah, I didn't compare mine to specific dishes, but I've got mine in like, so this is what you're coming back for, right? Or this
Okay.
is like your main dish. So my main dish of the off season is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right.
They're my main dish. They're the turkey, they're the ham, right?
Yeah.
The Lakers, they got Dennis Schroeder, like Dustin mentioned.
The
They got
green bean
Mark
casserole.
They got Mark Gasol, which is a nice addition.
Huge.
They got
addition,
Montrezl Harrell. They stole Montrezl Harrell from the crosstown rival
from
Los Angeles Clippers.
what should be the number 2.
Took them right from their locker room and just kept them in that locker room, put the purple and gold in that locker room and was like, here, this is your locker room now. And then they got
upgraded
Wesley
all their
Matthews.
sides. Yeah.
And then they got Wesley Matthews, who was like way better than Danny Green. And then they got rid of Danny Green. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah,
Great.
they upgraded all their sides and still have 2 of the best main dishes, like ham and turkey
still
out
got
there.
LeBron, and you still got AD, and you got Kyle Kuzma, who's a tradable asset.
Yeah.
And you got KCP back, who is also a very tradable asset. So I don't think they're done. I think they make some other move eventually, but they won a championship, and they just got better. My sides. These are my sides. These are kind of like the green bean casserole. These are what you gonna load up on, probably go back, get a little bit more of.
Sure.
It's the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are one of those sides. Okay, you got a really good young core, and what they needed to do to add on to that core was add some veteran presence in that locker room. They got Rajon Rondo, who's going to be there now to kind of coach up Trae Young. He's a good, valuable backup to have for Trae. He's a good team leader. Every team he goes to recently, everybody loves him as a veteran. They also got Danilo Gallinari, who is a very good big pick and pop guy, can play defense, hit the threes, expands the floor. He's going to be a really good pick and roll with Trae Young. And then they got Bogdan Bogdanovic. Dustin's favorite name to say.
Besides Obi.
Besides Obi.
Obi.
But that's another really good pickup. A guy who can stretch the floor is going to make it easier for Trae Young. And then I like their draft as well. So I think I had the Hawks as a good side. And then I had the Portland Trail Blazers as another good side that I'm going back to. They keep their whole roster from last year, which they didn't get to play a lot together because there was a lot of injuries. And then they ran into the Los Angeles Lakers. But they keep the core, and then they bring in Robert Covington, who is a really good 3-and-D guy to have on the team. They have hopefully all their guys healthy. They brought back Enes Kanter, Derek Jones Jr. They signed Melo again and Rodney Hood. So I like their offseason. They did a lot of good things. They were a really good team before last year. They were coming on at the end. They did everything that they needed to do to propel forward. Now on to my dishes that you're avoiding, which is basically just the cranberry sauce. I don't like that, and I'm never going to go for it. So my first edition of the cranberry sauce is the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
The Charlotte Hornets are cranberry sauce because you spent that much money on Gordon Hayward, who hasn't been good in like 3 years. He blew out his knee. We all know that. Terrible injury. He is not worth what you gave him. I know it's hard to get players to come to your team, but you just got off a bad contract in Nicholas Batum, and then you just signed another one in Gordon Hayward. And I don't think that's a good fit. I don't like it. My second bad cranberry dish is the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons just signed a bunch of forwards. You have Blake Griffin. You drafted forwards. You had a really good forward in Christian Wood, and then you just went and paid for one of the Plumlee brothers. I don't even know which Plumlee brother. Mason, Miles. I don't know, some M-name.
Well, the
Plumlee
reason
brother.
they signed more forwards is because Blake Griffin's only going to play like 30 games and get hurt.
Yeah. You got to make up for that lost time.
They got to have injury subs.
It's true. Anyway, the Pistons are they're going to be terrible. They didn't do anything to help their team get better. And then my other one is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder, which Dustin had mentioned already earlier. They did get a lot of draft picks, right? They loaded up on draft picks, but guess what? They're going to be terrible this year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sure, they're not going to be fun to watch. They're going to be really bad. They don't really have anybody good on the team anymore besides Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And sure, that gets you a good draft pick for this year. But all those draft picks that they traded for, and they traded for with teams that are going to be good. And we went over it when we did our first 5 draft pick thing a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Look at how many of those names were busts in those.
80%. 80% were busts.
So now you're trading for draft picks that are going to be at the end of the first round or second round. How many of those guys do you think are busts? So they're just loading up on all these trade assets, which sure, in theory, it's nice. But you got to really, really hit those draft picks well.
Yeah.
And hope that they pan out. You're betting a lot on the unknown. I don't like the unknown. I've never tried cranberry sauce, which is why I'm going to stay away from it.
It's because it comes in a can.
Dishes. It comes in a can. It looks weird. I'm going to go with the dishes that I know are going to be good. I'm going to stay away from the Thunder. I'm going to stay away from
That's what you fill your plate with. That's what you fill your plate with, man.
Good job.
All right. So mine were kind of y'all two made your list early. I made mine late, so I kind of had a little bit of the leftover picks. Nobody had written down the Suns initially, and so this was my first one for the good. And the Suns, to me, are going to be sweet potatoes. They're the first thing I'm going to go for after I get through the turkey and ham. So
nice.
So that they're going to be that number 3 that I'm looking for going into the next season. Again, that CP3 add to it. I think it's going to make them a top 4 seed.
That gravy. Got that gravy on everything.
That's the same kind of thing. They're that third thing that I'm looking for to fill my plate up. Then I go on to the dirty rice. I don't know if y'all have that at y'all's Thanksgiving or not, but that dirty rice is my fourth. The second one for me is a good, not great, but it's chips and salsa, and it's like, who brings chips and salsa? Yeah, it's Danny Green and Seth Curry going to the 76ers. They got 2 starters, and then they added 2 meh shooters. So it's like, it could make them better, but I don't know what it's really going to do for them. So it's like, it's a good growth for them, but it's not any kind of great because they're getting Danny Green. Seth Curry, I'll give him a little bit of props, but it's like, it's chips and salsa. I'm going to eat it if I see it at the table. And they might, it might have a presence, but I'm questioning why in the hell it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was having trouble following you in that last. You tied it together, I think.
It's just.
You dismounted perfectly on that one.
Yeah. I didn't know what you were doing on the beam, but then when you dismounted, I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah. It took me a little bit to kind of come up with these, all right? Y'all took all the good ones. So I'm working with this one. All right. My last one is Miami Heat as the ham. And the reason for that being is they're not the main dish. Everybody, whenever you're thinking Thanksgiving, is always thinking of turkey. Is always going to be thinking of in this case, the Lakers. But I have the Miami Heat as ham because they just signed that Adebayo contract. Big time money on that one. And what that does is lock him into the Miami Heat for the next year whenever Antetokounmpo comes a free agent. And so I think that's a big plus. I think that's going to be a big move for them. And he's already looking at Miami for next year. So I got them as just that not the main shot, not the main scene. It's not going to be the what you identify whenever you're thinking of Thanksgiving. But I got that right behind it being a big story.
Not to mention they drafted Precious.
They did draft Precious.
Precious.
They got Precious. They got
my
Precious.
third favorite name, but now I don't like him anymore.
And my bad straight up is Boogie Cousins. I'm not going to even play around with that one.
You hate Boogie, we know.
I just can't stand. I can't stand injury.
Now he's on the Rockets. You're gonna have to watch him.
I'm not gonna. You know what?
He's on the dysfunctional family.
What's his name? You know what Boogie Cousins is to me? You know what he is to me? He's whenever healthy, he is an all-star talent, but he's Greg Odom to me.
You know what you
He's
don't
the-
do with a dysfunctional family that's already fighting is add another dysfunctional piece to the family.
This is my main
He's
bad.
the angry boyfriend that hits his girlfriend, and you just brought him in.
That the whole family
all right.
knows and hates, and they're like, "Oh, great, this guy."
So he's just this big bully that no one's gonna stand up to. He's just gonna.
He's Greg Odom. He's good whenever he's healthy, and he's gonna be injured for 50% of your season. So it's like,
Well,
why acquire this? This makes no sense. Like, the Rockets have completely lost their mind as an organization.
we'll buy you a jersey.
Yeah, thanks. I'll wear it inside out.
Yeah, you said you didn't have a jersey to wear on Halloween.
I don't have an NBA.
We don't
jersey,
want you
actually.
to get forgotten.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to our final shots. Dustin, you want to open it up with the final shot for the week, man?
Yeah, speaking of getting jerseys,
Good segue.
yeah, the Mavs literally like hours ago just unveiled new jerseys, and they stink.
Oh no.
They're white with gold trim. Like, why? Pull this up. I'm gonna switch my camera so I can see this.
Hold on.
The legacy jerseys, right? That
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like legacy or something.
Like, a lot of these are cool. Even like the city one is cool
Is
with
this?
the graffiti logo.
No,
No, that one looks good too. They literally like just displayed it like hours ago.
it's on that
Okay.
second row there.
that one, yeah,
Harley.
This
yeah. It's like, what the hell
is
are
it?
y'all
Is
doing?
it on Twitter? You think? Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Mavs.
Porzingis
go
was
to-
the model.
Yeah, go to
Who?
Porzingis's.
Okay.
For the
Stop.
Mavericks, they'll have it. But yeah, they stink.
Whatever.
And like the Spurs earlier this week or last week came out with the Fiesta jerseys, which
Those
honestly
are awesome.
it's the easiest throwback jersey ever. It's literally
here
a
we go,
black
here we
uniform
go.
with three.
Ain't on a game, put
Oh,
a candle on
sorry.
my name. Never go.
This is so terrible. Let it play.
Why? How is this the Dallas colors?
It's
all.
not. That's what I don't get. It stinks. What are you doing?
I mean, I don't hate the color scheme, but you're changing the entire Dallas colors.
Yeah, legacy is everything. You've won one championship with Dirk Nowitzki.
That's
like,
what I was just about to say.
What's the legacy? here?
I-
And like, let Luka make his own legacy. Like, I get what you're trying to do, but you're getting ahead of it way too far and
just
like changing
settle
too
down,
much.
sir. Settle the f
You
down.
could have went a retro throwback, which they've kind of done in the past. But
Oh
they
my
stink.
god, those are horrible.
Good job, San Antonio, for bringing back the easiest throwback unis ever.
Oh,
That's my
man.
final shot.
All right. Brooks, what do you got for the final shot this week, man?
Once again, I'm gonna go personal.
Go
Nothing
get
sports
it.
here.
What do you got?
These are my last few days of being in my 20s, man. This this time next week I will be in my 30s. So
Big boy Brooks.
What time are we going to Triple J's?
yeah, right. I don't even know if Triple J's is open. I'm sure it is, but so yeah, this is my last week of being in my 20s. Next
Harley,
time you hear from
one
me,
of us.
One of us.
One of us. One of
That's
us.
it. Big boy Brooks coming through.
so yeah, that's kind of
Well,
that's my final shot. Is maybe next episode I'll be taking some 30-year-old birthday
Preemptive
shots
happy
for you
birthday.
guys. I don't know.
Tex-Mex is saying the best jerseys in Dallas is by far Dallas Stars blackout jersey.
Yeah,
good
they
one.
also released new jerseys that were white, and they stink too.
Oh, is the whole town trying to change? Oh, dude, if the Dallas Cowboys change to white and gold, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna
Terry
lose
will never
it.
do that.
No, he would never.
Uniforms
But
are white, and they stink too. Just keep
man.
going.
all right.
Rangers.
Their whole team stinks.
My final shot out or final shot for the game or for that game. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. My final shot for the pod today is going to be just a quick shout out to my sister for doing that little pre-recording for us. I kind of wanted to add a little bit of diversity to the vocals coming through for the podcast. I wanted a little bit of a female touch to come through and just kind of introduce the show or start the show off. So she went ahead and did that for us. She does a lot of audio recording. She's worked with a couple of high-end musicians and stuff, and so she already had a lot of that equipment at home. And so I was like, all right, give this a go and see how it comes out. And I think it turned out pretty cool, and I appreciate the effort. She did that like literally within a day or two of me asking her, so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, shout out. It's awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool. And if you haven't yet, go check out Brooks' sister. Was it
Bailey Barrett.
Bailey Barrett. Yeah. Sorry, I had to spit it
Good
out.
time.
Bailey
Good
Barrett.
Time is
Good
the name of the
time.
song.
That's the song. She's
Check her out.
She's part of the family. So go check out the song. Go listen to it. Put it on repeat and put your phone on mute. Whatever. Get that song up there. All right, guys. So once again, I want to kind of give a quick shout out to all of our social media pages. Obviously, Tailgate_Talks on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as our own pages, which Dustin, you can catch him at Dustin Wimmer 22. Brooks, you can catch him at Calvin B. Barrett. And myself, you can catch me at Blanca, where the L is a 1. And don't forget, guys, if you're still here, make sure you pay up on your shot bets. Send us the video. Look at that. Dustin finished 2 of his tonight in the middle of the broadcast. Takes 2 seconds, and we really want to kind of get this going, get this rolling, having some fun with you guys. You can be at the bar already drinking, and you can already be taking shots, but you can just be like, hey, this is part of that. We don't care. We just want to see the video.
If you don't drink, just do it with something non-alcoholic too. That'd be fun.
Any last input? Oh, I did forget about this. No. Big thing. We are going to have a guest on our next episode, I believe, right?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So we have the one and only a Lubbock, I dare say Lubbock legend. I feel like everybody around town knows him to some degree. Kelsey Johnson. And he's going to be coming onto the podcast with us next episode. It's going to be our first interview or our first guest on the show. He's going to be hanging out with us, joining on the Zoom call, and just chipping in on some sports. He's doing some big stuff with Jay's Salsa Company, and so he's going to probably talk a little bit about that on the show as well. Like I said, talk some sports, talk some Texas Tech with us. So keep an eye out for that. He's going to be on the pod with us. I think it's December 2nd is our next recording, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Correct.
And he's going to be joining us for that recording. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to having Kelsey on the show. He's also a good friend of all 3 of ours, former roommate to Dustin, basically former roommate to Brooks whenever he'd sleep over there. But we're very, very excited to have, just maybe once or twice. But very excited to have him on the show. Very excited for him to be our very first guest here as well. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap up the show, guys. Any last bit of input?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for joining the tailgate. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, guys. Big love to everybody hanging out with us. Thank you, everybody who Tex-Mex saying, and Brooks' sister song is really great. Yeah. Thank you to everybody that came and hung out in the stream. Everybody that's been supporting us so far. Everybody's been doing the retweets and the votes and everything. Thank you to all of you that are helping us kind of grow what is a very fun hobby for all of us, and what is hopefully entertaining to all of you.
Get plenty of Gordon Hayward and Dennis Schroeder and cover it in Chris Paul this weekend.
Yeah.
Put that on your plate. All right, guys.
Yeah.
We will catch y'all on the 2nd. Take care.
Peace.